students. This is 12th class biology chapter 15 biodiversity and conservation, and this is lecture number 3 of this chapter. Today we will discuss about loss of biodiversity and causes behind it. So let's start with loss of biodiversity. In previous lecture we discussed about a committee called IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. Right, so IUCN has prepared a red list, and in that red list there is data about all the species which have been extinct or are facing the threat of extinction. So all those species names have been written in red list. Right, now this red list in 2004, when according to 2004 datas, in this red list names of 784 species have been written which have been extinct in last 500 years. Right, and these 784 species are 338 vertebrate species, 359 invertebrate species, and 87 species of plants. So all these are total 784 species which have been extinct in last 500 years. That record is in the red list of IUCN. These are some examples of animals which have been extinct. So dodo bird have been extinct now, quagga, thylacine, steelard sea cow, and Bali type of tiger. So all these have been extinct. You need to learn these examples. 27 species disappeared in last 20 years. So this is very large number. And more than 15,500 species are facing threat of extinction. Then 12% birds, 23% mammals, 32% amphibians, and 31% gymnosperm. All these species are facing threat of extinction. The current extinction rate is 100 to 1000 times faster than in the pre-human times. It means species are getting extinct at a very faster rate now. If this trend continues, nearly half of all the species on earth might be extinct within next 100 years, and it will be called a mass extinction. In earth's history, 5 such mass extinctions have been occurred earlier, but this time this mass extinction will be different from those. It will be called 6th mass extinction, and it will be due to human activities. The previous mass extinction, previous 5 mass extinctions were due to natural calamities, but it will be due to human activities. So it is different from those, and also it is faster than the earlier mass extinctions. Right, so the 6th mass extinction can occur. Now these 3 different types of tiger have been given here which have been extinct, like Bali tiger, Javan tiger, and Caspian tiger. All these types of tiger have been extinct. These are impacts of loss of biodiversity, that how it affects our ecosystem and us. So first is decline in plant production. If there will be loss of biodiversity, there will be chances of loss of some of the pollinators of the plants. Okay, you know, many different species of insect help in pollination of plants. Right, so there will be less pollination in case of loss of biodiversity, and plant production will decrease. Also, you know that many species play a role as biocontrol agent, and that is very helpful for increasing the plant production. Right, so if there will be loss of those species of organisms, like those are acting as biocontrol agent, there will be decline in plant production. Next thing is environmental perturbations, and that is directly due to decline in plant production. Right, so environmental perturbation like drought and floods, all these are due to decline in plant production. And you know that how number of plants can affect drought and floods. All these environmental perturbations are caused due to a less number of plants. Next thing is increased variability in ecosystem processes such as plant productivity. So if there will be less number of species on the earth, first of all the plant production will be affected. Okay, and if there will be less plants on the earth, so the whole ecosystem will be affected. There will be variability in the productivity, because the primary product, the whole productivity that sustain the whole earth, you can say, that comes from plants, right? So in case of loss of biodiversity, plant productivity will be affected. There will be variation in the plant productivity, and also some pest and disease cycle will be affected, and it will affect the human race also. Okay, if there will be more disease causing organisms around us, that will affect us also. So all these are impacts of loss of biodiversity. Now what are the causes? What are the causes behind loss of biodiversity? These causes are called Abel quartet. Now let's see how these are called Abel quartet. So these are four main causes for the loss of biodiversity. First is habitat loss and fragmentation. Second, overexploitation. Then alien species invasion and co-extinction. These four are main causes for the loss of biodiversity, and because these are four, so these are called Abel quartet, right? So let's understand about the first cause, that is habitat loss and fragmentation. Habitat loss means the place in which any organism is living. If there is loss of that place, that will be called habitat loss, and obviously that will impact that organism, that animal or plant, and will cause the loss of species. Second thing, fragmentation. If there is not loss of the complete habitat, but that habitat has been divided into small parts, that fragmentation will also affect some of the animals, okay, and will become a cause of their loss. So habitat loss and fragmentation, these are most important causes of loss of biodiversity. For example, tropical rainforest, that is habitat for a large number of species. So tropical rainforest, due to cutting of these forests, their area has become 6% from 14%. Okay, so there is loss from 14% to 6%. Earlier these were on the 14% part of the earth, but now these are only on the 6% part of the earth. So this is a big loss, this is a big habitat loss, and we can say indirectly loss of many species. Thousands of hectares of rainforests are being lost within hours. Within hours, we can say thousands of hectares of rainforests are lost. Next example of habitat loss is cutting of Amazon rainforest. Amazon rainforest, that is habitat for a large number of species, is being cut for cultivating soya beans or for conversion of grasslands for cattle. So these are two main reasons for which Amazon rainforest is being cut. First is cultivating of soya bean, and second is conversion of grassland for cattle. So this is called deforestation of Amazon rainforest. Next thing is about the fragmentation of habitat. So in fragmentation, you can see here, like it was a complete forest, okay, but due to formation of due to construction of this road in between, it has been divided into two parts. Now the animals which need big territories, okay, those animal species will be affected due to this fragmentation, and it can cause loss of those species. Okay, so such type of construction, the road, if there is any road in between the forest, okay, so that is called fragmentation of the habitat for some animals. So fragmentation badly affect animals requiring large territories. Okay, the animals which need only small territories, it will not affect those animals and those species, but the animals requiring large territories get affected by fragmentation, and also some migratory animals get affected due to such kind of fragmentation of habitat. Next cause of loss of biodiversity is overexploitation. Overexploitation means excessive use of anything, and these are examples of some animals. These are Steelard sea cow and passenger pigeon, which have become extinct due to excessive use or due to overexploitation by human being due to for their own welfare. Next cause of loss of biodiversity is alien species invasion. Alien species means any species which is not native to that area, native to that particular habitat, that is coming from outside. That species is called alien species, right? Now if that alien species invade a new area, a particular habitat, it can become a threat for the indigenous species. Indigenous species means the species which are already living in that habitat. So that alien species become a threat for those species and can cause loss of biodiversity, can cause loss of those species. So alien species cause decline or extinction of indigenous species. These are examples of loss of biodiversity due to alien species invasion. So first example is the Nile perch introduced into Lake Victoria. This Nile perch fish was introduced into Lake of Victoria, which is in East Africa, and due to invasion of this fish, there was extinction of more than 200 species of cichlid fish in the lake Victoria. Okay, these are cichlid fish which got extinct. More than 200 species of these cichlid fish got extinct due to invasion of Nile perch fish, because it was an alien species and it acted like a predator for all these small fishes in that lake. Next example is invasive weed species like carrot grass, that is also called Parthenium, lantana, and water hyacinth. Water hyacinth is also called Acornia. All these weed species are alien species and these have caused damage to our native species. Okay, these are not good for the indigenous species of any area. So the carrot grass look like this. This is lantana and this is water hyacinth. All these are alien species. Next example is illegal introduction of African catfish. This is African catfish, you can see here. Okay, and it was illegally introduced for aquaculture into our rivers, right? And due to its introduction, it became a threat for our indigenous catfishes. Like these are Indian catfish. Okay, and when this African catfish was introduced into rivers, because it was an alien species, it became a threat for our catfishes, for our Indian catfishes. The next cause of loss of biodiversity is co-extinction. When a species becomes extinct, the species associated with it also extinct. You have already studied about the co-evolution, right? That how the parasitic and host species co-evolve with each other. Okay, so it is about co-extinction. It is also like that. If the host species will get extinct, the parasite species will also get extinct. So this is called co-extinction. Okay, so when a species becomes extinct, the species associated with it. You know, the parasites are associated with its host, right? So that's associated species will also get extinct. And also one more example of co-extinction is found in plants and its pollinators. Okay, if pollinators will get extinct, plant will also get extinct, right? So you can say extinction of parasites when host is extinct, that is an example of co-extinction, and also co-extinction of plant and pollinators. Now based on today's topics, your homework is NCERT question number 5, and also read all the topics that we have discussed in today's lecture from your NCERT book. Now let's discuss the homework solution of previous lecture. This is question number 3 of NCERT. Give 3 hypotheses for explaining why tropics show greatest level of species richness. So the answer is 3 hypotheses used by scientists to explain species richness in the tropics. And these are: first is, as tropical latitudes receive more solar energy compared to temperate regions, it results in high species diversity and high productivity, because solar energy is the primary source of energy on earth. Okay, and tropical regions are getting more solar energy, so obviously there will be more plant production. Okay, and there will be more species diversity. Second reason is, tropical regions have less seasonal variations and more or less constant environment, promoting specialization and hence high species richness. Because of less seasonal variation, any species will get more time for its niche specialization, you can say, and due to niche specialization there will be chances of survival of that species, right? That's why there will be more species richness, more species diversity. The next reason is, in the ice age, temperate regions faced glaciation. So for a long time, temperate regions were facing the glaciation period. Okay, there was means ice everywhere in the temperate region. That was called ice age. And in that time, there were no chances for any kind of, you can say, speciation, for the species formation, right? But in tropical regions, these were unchanged, leading to an increase in species diversity in that region. So in tropical regions there were no such ices or anything. That's why the species means there was more time for the speciation. Okay, and speciation is a matter of time only. Next thing is, what is the significance of the slope of regression in a species area relationship? So you have already studied about the curve, species area relationship curve. So what is the significance of slope of regression in that curve? You need to tell that the slope is very helpful in finding the species area relationship. An analysis of the species area relationship in smaller regions reveal that the values of slopes of regression is the same irrespective of the taxonomic assemblies of the region, means which type of species is living in that area. Irrespective of that, slope of regression value is always same for small regions, right? But when same analysis is carried out in a large area, the slope of regression was found to be much steeper, and this steeper slope of regression represent that with increasing area, species richness is increasing. So this is the significance of slope of regression. This is question number 6 of NCERT, that how is biodiversity important for ecosystem functioning? So the answer is, first of all we will tell that what is biodiversity. So biodiversity refers to the variety of life on earth at all the levels like genetic level, species level and ecological level. Okay, now this biodiversity is important for the following. First thing, an ecosystem is more stable when it has a high species diversity when compared to a low species diversity ecosystem. So for the stability of ecosystem, there is requirement of biodiversity, because if there will be more number of species, then there will be more predators, and you can see the biological controllers for some of the prey species. Okay, and which is very helpful for a stable ecosystem. The next thing, higher biodiversity causes the ecosystem to more stable in productivity, because productivity depends on the plant production. Okay, and if there are more type of pollinators, like if the species number is more, then there will be more pollinators and more biological controllers, then the plant productivity will increase, right? And stability in productivity is very important for the ecosystem. And an ecosystem that has stable productivity will become more resistant to any disturbance such as floods, or any alien species invasion. Next importance of biodiversity is the ecological balance in an ecosystem rich in biodiversity remains unchanged as different trophic levels are connected through food chains. There is a food chain in ecosystem, in every ecosystem, like one organism is eating any other organism and that is being eaten by any other organism, so a food chain is formed, right? Now what happened, illness of one organism at any trophic level, a trophic level, like there are different trophic level, first herbivorous, after that those first of all you can say producers for the plants, then those are eaten by herbivorous, then those are eaten by carnivorous, so these different trophic levels are formed, right? Now illness of one organism at any trophic level would disturb the whole food chain, right? For example, if plants are destroyed in a food chain, like plants are producers, if these producers are destroyed in a food chain, then it would create an imbalance in world of herbivorous, because from where the herbivorous will get food now, right? So it will create an imbalance in the world of herbivorous due to scarcity of food, right? Eventually, if all deer die, deer is for herbivorous example here, okay, so if all herbivorous or all deer will die, the tigers will also die soon due to scarcity of food, right? So you can say illness of any of the trophic level, it will impact the whole food chain. That's why a stable ecosystem will not be there due to loss of biodiversity. Thus, if an ecosystem is rich in species, each trophic level will have other food alternatives. If there will be, if a specific kind of plants will get destroyed, but deer has any other option for eating, then obviously the whole food chain will not get disturbed, right? So there should be options always, and how those options will be there, due to rich biodiversity, right? That's why biodiversity is very important. So if there will be alternatives for the food chain will not get disturbed. So each trophic level will have other food alternatives which would increase the life expectancy rate of entities, and therefore biodiversity has a significant role in preserving the ecological health and balance of an ecosystem. Now this is question number 9 of NCERT. The species diversity of plants is 22%, which is much less than that of animals, which is 72%. So what could be the explanation to how animals achieved greater diversification, that why the animal species number is more than number of plant species? So the answer is there is a huge difference in the percentage of species diversity of plants and that of animals, because for plants it is only 22%, okay, but for animals it is 72%. So these are the reasons. First is adaptation of animals to changing environments for survival. Animals have more adaptations for changing environment, and you have already studied about the adaptations in animals for changing environment for their survival in the chapter organism and population. So this is first reason. Next is animals and insects have grown to develop a complex nervous system for coordinated and controlled body movements. So complex nervous system is absent in case of plants, okay, so there is coordinated and controlled body movement. Also, insects have grown to be versatile and developed the potential to survive in different habitats. That's why there are so many species of insects only in animal kingdom, you can say, okay. So in comparison to other life forms, they possess repeated body segments with external cuticles and paired appendages. So all these features of insects make them a versatile group, and insects are also a part of animal kingdom. That's why there are more species of animals than plants. Next reason is plants are immobile while animals can move around. Hence animals have achieved more diversity because due to movement also they are getting benefit. Okay, there is easy to get protected, right? Hence, animals have achieved more diversity as they have moved and adapted to different habitats.